Late Night Trappin with Auntie on this Friday night. And my guest this evening is Marlita. And I met Miss Marlita at, believe it or not, at Busy Bees. You know, we were out there getting some food and everything. And this is her new book called Salty. And also she came over, you know, and I'm going to let her talk about her book and tell you about her adventure.
Well, I thank you so much for having me. As she said, my name is Marlita. This is my first urban novel. It's an action-packed novel about 3 women who are finding themselves. What inspired me mostly to write this book is I was incarcerated for 8 years. So during my incarceration, ladies, we sit on this thing called the yard. People that's been in prison before understand what I'm talking about. The yard, which is where it's kind of like a little small piece of freedom. So we sit on the yard. Everybody tells the most exciting stories that they've ever been in, or exciting situations. And so as I sit there and I listen, and you know, it's like one of those situations where you think you've had it rough, you should hear somebody else's story type of situation in life. So as I sat there, I was inspired by a couple of stories to write, and it was my only escape was writing. So I listened to several stories, and what I did was collectively I combined all the stories into one action-packed novel. It's urban, it's a little hood, it's a little ratchet, but it also is more reality. You know, it's and it's kind of like what goes on in the world around us that, you know, kind of falls by the wayside. And like I said, yes, I did do 8 years. I've been home now for about 2, but I did have to wear an anklet for like one of those years. So, and anybody know what the ankle monitor is like? It's like I'm still incarcerated because I am confined now to the walls of my house. I got to be in at 6. I have to get drug tested every other day or every other week or whatever the case may be. I have to pay out this money, this and that, this and that. So, like I said, this is my first time ever really speaking out about it. And like I met this wonderful lady at Busy Bees, which is like a great restaurant here in Atlanta, one of my favorite ones actually. Now, these wings that she makes, hey, now I don't know, Busy Bee, they're coming for the crown a little bit. Now, I don't know what to say, I'm telling you, I'm almost convinced. But yeah, so, and I told her, I said, you know, I pulled her aside and I said, you know, I just did 8 years and I'm not looking for no accolades about that or no badge of honor or any of that. Never imagined I would be in jail. Like, who does that? Mm-hmm. But I am willing to share my story. Right. And I'm going to keep it real because I don't really know no other way. I wish I could just water myself down, but unfortunately, that's not my better thing to do. I'm, you know, still learning how to be a little bit more polished because even though I'm free mentally, my mind is still kind of like still guarded, right, you know, and protecting a lot of my space and stuff like that.
What were some of your experiences while you were incarcerated?
Well, however it happened, the water started dripping into the classroom. And everybody was like, what's going on? What's going on? And they called the code. Like, the code is for everybody to have to report to their room, like complete lockdown. Right. And we found out that the 23-year-old girl who had 2 small kids at home, 2 small daughters, had killed herself. Wow. So that was like a situation where I'm like, oh my goodness, you know what I mean? Like, not everybody can handle time, you know?
That's true.
And, you know, other girl took a handful of pills trying to kill herself, but it didn't work. I mean, that's good that it didn't work, but that was, you know, so my experience, I can't say, I'm not encouraging anyone to get in trouble or anything like that right there, but it wasn't as bad as the actual sit. The anticipation of going to prison is far greater than actually being in prison. Right. Yeah, so my experiences was, you know, I just knew going in, like I said, I wasn't going to turn to cigarettes. I wasn't going to turn to mental health drugs. I wasn't going to turn to another woman. You know, to each his own, to everybody, but I knew for a fact that was not going to be my path. Like, no, I'm not going to do that, you know.
That's not something that, you know, who does? Okay.
Oh, they do.
You have kids? Mm-hmm. Talk about your kids.
I have 3 sons. When I went to prison, they were like 7, 8, and like 11. And when I come home, they're like 21, 20. You know, they're much older.
They're grown up.
They're grown. So when I left, they were little boys. When I came home, they were, you know, I might be off a little bit by their ages when I left.
Right.
But they were smaller kids who really genuinely didn't understand what was going on. So the biggest thing in the world was leaving my kids. Nothing else really bothered me but leaving my kids.
Right.
One of my sons, you know, has alleged that something happened to him in the midst of mine, you know,
Right.
going away. And, you know, so I had to come home and deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it was, and I'm building my relationship with them. My relationship is still very fragile with my kids.
Right.
It's
Well, it's
still
like starting over.
It's just like starting over. So a lot of things about them,
That
I
you
don't
have to
understand.
learn. Right.
Today's generation of children are like the worst.
Yes.
Like, nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to give things thought. Everybody wants things given to them. And like 85% of the men want to be rappers. Nobody wants to don't nobody really understand what it takes to get to where you need to be.
That's true.
And you know, and that's just what I see right now. But they was young. Now I had one graduate college since I've been home. I missed 2 high school graduations.
Okay.
So that sucked. Then the last one just copped out, you know, he just went on his way with it, you know. But I missed 2 high school, and I think that was my first time ever breaking down my oldest boy, because I had my oldest son at 14. So
Okay.
when he graduated, and I wasn't there for that, that was my first mental breakdown in prison.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I can imagine.
Oh yeah,
You
it
know.
was tough. It
So-
was very tough.
So your relationship with your kids now, you're building.
It's kind of like sucks because, you know, my oldest son and I used to be like best friends pretty much. You know, I had him when I was young, so we kind of grew together. And my middle son and my baby boy, we're not like on the best of terms because, you know, it's just, I think it's a lack of understanding and a lack of care that I could tolerate. It's a lack of it all, you know?
Right.
So, you know, it's one of those situations where I guess in time, you know, I'm a grandmother now, so
Right.
I put all my energy in her.
Yeah.
I don't, you know, she's so innocent. She don't know what's going on, and
No.
she'll never know about me in prison and none of that. And, well, she will when she gets older, and I can explain it to her.
Right.
Because certain decisions that you make, you know, you're gonna pay for them eventually.
Those are like, you know, life stories, and you know, we all have a story.
True.
You know, so that's what that is. Was there like who raised your kids while you were incarcerated?
Well, my sister had my oldest son. My middle son was with his father, and my baby boy was with his father's mother.
Okay.
So they were all with family, and my older sister did the best she could to keep them together, but she had 4 kids of her own, so it was like, you know, trying to combine everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that was like.
Well,
really,
good you had your family.
Oh
Like
yeah,
your
my support
family
system.
support.
I had I can't say my family is in plural. I had my oldest sister who really, you know, I have 2 others. It's 4 of us. My mom has 4 daughters, so my oldest sister is the one that stood up in the pain. My other 2, you know, they kind of fell by the wayside. And my mom was on drugs at the time, so you know, she wasn't able to do what I needed her to do. So I had a good support system as far as my son's fathers. Both my oldest 2, they came every weekend. They rotated, bringing the kids every other weekend. And then my middle son father, which we're legally married, he kept money in my account. I didn't have to worry about anything. So.
Wow. Okay. So since you've been out and since your book has been published, what adventures have came your way?
Well, I'm here. Let me be clear. I am here. And, you know, honestly, coming from such a dark place, even walking around with an ankle monitor on you, and I'm just coming out of a relationship. So somewhere along the way, you lose who you are, and you lose a lot of your self-esteem. You lose a lot of your self-respect. You find yourself tolerating shit that you like, wait a minute now. Wait. Now, God damn it. Now, enough is enough. Even a dog gets tired. So, writing Salty, actually, I've been wrote this book 5-6 years ago, but publishing it and going as far as transitioning from underneath a man's wing to standing on my own 2 feet since January has made me, like, gave my self-esteem back.
Empowered you.
Empowered me like crazy, because now I believe in me. Exactly. And I sell these books based upon me, you know.
Right.
And I know that but I do know that these are stories worth telling. Like, there's so many people out there that need to know, like, oh my God, like, she's not a bad person because she did this, or she's not a bad person because she did that, you know. So these stories, it's urban, but it's the truth, you know.
Right.
No, I didn't, you know, I altered names and added my own little twist to it, because at the end of the day, I don't, you know, want to get sued or anything like that.
Right.
So I added my own to it, but for the most part, you know, it's really, really, really a great read. And so many doors has opened up since I've published my book. I met some really interesting people. Today I met young M.A., and she was like, oh my God, this is great. I'm going to read it, and I'm going to add you at it once I finish. And, you know, I've had great reviews on Amazon.
Wow.
Yeah, I have good reviews on Amazon, you know, because a lot of the women had life, majority of them. So I sent them to them, a few to the ones who don't got TV. I mean, you know, they don't got access to the computer, or don't even got family. Because when you get that kind of big, most of the time, after the first, 4 or 5 years, your family is like, look, it's hard out here, life goes on, you know? So
you lose them on the wayside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's your next future, your next goals for your book?
Well, it's funny you say that. Haven't been asked that. The goal, though, really, I have part 2, which is pretty much already done. But I want to get part 1 out so people can see Saudi for what it is and be ready and looking forward to part 2. I have this very important book that I'm working on, and it's called Their Voices. It's going to be called Their Voices, coming out soon. And it's one of them things, like, this is like, you know, my own twist to it, but this book is a little different. I was locked up with a young lady that killed all 3 of her kids, and no, I don't agree with what she did, and I don't really understand it, but I get why she felt that she didn't have any other outlet. So I want to tell some of the women's stories in prison.
Right.
And I'm going to do this with, like, their permission. Like, you know, I've already got her permission, but she's, you know, and what she did was she was going through postpartum depression, and a lot of women, African Americans especially, don't think that really exists. We be
does.
We'll go get some liquor, or we'll go get some beer, we'll get this and that.
My daughter went through it.
Yeah.
Postpartum depression.
It's real. And the thing is, we downplay it, and we downplay mental health. We downplay a lot of things.
Yes, we do.
But only people that lose when we start out is downplaying is us. You know? So, you know, I went to see a therapist for my first year. The feds made me go, but it was a good idea. I was glad to go. You know?
Right.
So, I learned.
I mean, it's just because they can help you. I mean, I need therapy for a lot of things, you know, happened to me as a kid, that you need closure.
Right.
You know, in your life, and so I get it, but you know, I'm a very spiritual person, so I have closure in some things and some things I don't. But at the end of the day, I am my destiny and my future.
Okay, I have a question for you too, though. What made you start this? Like, what brought this on?
What the
your podcast?
My
this
podcast.
Is amazing. I feel really relieved
well,
to be telling my story. And, you know,
well, what brought this on for me is I wanted to give something back with people that's in the same business that I'm doing, small business. We're a small business. And I wanted to like showcase other businesses and other women, and you know, it was just something that I want to do, because my goal is to sit up and smoke with Snoop Dogg, you know, Wiz Khalifa, you know.
Oh, those are smoke kings.
Yeah, you know, that's where I'm going. You feel me? Mm-hmm. But I love what I do. I love other women. I love to showcase other women and their businesses. Mm-hmm. So that way, who knows, you could change my life and I could change your life.
True.
And we have to come together as a people and as one.
True.
You know, and I want to be able to say, well, you just look back on and say, well, shoot, Auntie had a little part in this, me getting this done. So, you know, you just never know where your destiny gonna take you. And I always want to give back, and I always want to stay humble, and I always want to support my people, and especially women of color.
True.
And so when I saw you and you said that, I was like, Dean, yeah, will you be on my show?
Right.
You know, because I want to, you know, showcase that. And it's like sisterhood.
It is.
You know, you show me love, you know, and I show you love. And
Right.
that's what we don't have enough of.
True.
We, you know, we're black women, and we have to stick together.
We have to.
You know.
We have
and
to.
I'm older, but I'm opening up a pathway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because, you know, we're going to have generational wealth.
I agree. I receive it.
Exactly. So that's why I did it. And because I want to, you know, get something back. And I don't know where it's going to take me.
Right.
I'm ready for the adventure. You know what I'm saying? There's so much out here.
It is, man. It's a big world.
You know.
It is.
So that's, you know, that's why I did it. So, you know, tell people how they can get your book. You know, you got an email.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they can give you a shout out.
This is salty. I guarantee you, you're gonna love it. Like, it's nowhere around it. You will thank me later. Right now, with people, you know, we don't know what COVID gonna do. We don't know which way to go, but we do know that we can go in the house, sit down, grab us a nice old glass of wine. It's a little ratchet, so you might want to grab your glass of Hennessy and sit down and read. Let your imagination take over. Imagine 3 young girls got some stuff going on. It's men's places in here too, and on the front of it, it tells you, you show me who you walk with and I tell you who you are. That's very deep. You let that sink in for a minute. Mm-hmm. Now that that's over with, go ahead, go on Amazon right now. Marlita Williams. It's another little salty person to run around Amazon. Marlita Williams. I'm right here. Go on Amazon. Get this. This is a must read. It's going to take your mind. Ain't no good shows on right now, no way. So come on, support your girl. Salty. Amazon. Order today. Order now. Addition to that, I'm on Instagram as reloaded_round2. Reloaded_round2. Yes, I'm back out and I'm back at it. So here's the deal. Reloaded_round2. And I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook as Marlita Williams. And you'll see this beautiful young lady right on there on Facebook. Like I said, thank me later. Go on there, look me up. Go to Amazon, let them know how you like the book. Whether you do or you don't. But I guarantee you, you know, you're going to love it. I almost want to do a money back guarantee, you know, because I'm just that confident in what I wrote about. These stories are real. You ain't never been inside of nowhere. Relax your mind and go on in. Because that's what you're going to do. This is what you call a hood roller coaster. So.
All right, I'm going to say you guys have a good night. Subscribe to my channel. You know, support Trap Treatz. And let me see that tea. I do the CBD tea. So if you want to get some tea, holla at Auntie. I go on my IG. Have a great evening. God bless. And remember, God's going to take us places we never thought we would go. Good night.